All right, there we go. A few technical difficulties with the webcam there. I do apologize, but what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. I know it's a little bit late, but I wanted to make sure that we got a different group of people than usual. Song's a little loud. Typically, we get people from like the UK and such. Wanted to mix it up, see if we can get some people from some other areas, the US, maybe India. We had a good turnout yesterday. And anyway, just to get right to the point, there's a lot to talk about here regarding the price action. I want to clarify what's going on for anybody that's been kind of missing the recent news and is wondering why Dogecoin hit 13 cents, is wondering right now, are we going to go back to 13 cents? Because there's actually a chance that we do. And I want to discuss what that scenario is going to look like if it does happen. Just a quick little analysis as we get started. As you can see here, this is Dogecoin, taking a look at it on the 30-minute time frame here. And what you can see is right here, this is where the crash happened yesterday. We started to pull back here, started to see a pretty major sell-off all the way down to 13 cents. We did bounce, we did hold and start to move up towards 18, which is exactly the number that we talked about yesterday on stream. I don't know if you guys can recall, but there were a couple different points that we mentioned we should be buying at, and then where we should potentially be looking to cut, you know, at least not add more, just depending on your trade style. You can either be a trader or a long-time holder. I prefer to hold if we're buying under 20, but if you're a trader, you would have been looking for an exit at around 18 cents. Reason being is, let me just kind of explain what the logic was behind that. Don't forget, guys, as you come in, welcome to the stream. Fill up the chat with any questions you may have. Would be more than happy to answer those for you. And also click the like button so that YouTube recommends this stream to other people. Had a pretty good turnout yesterday. Ended up with about 350 people at a time here in the stream, with a total of like 6,000 viewers that rolled through. So let's try to have another similar night. It was a good time. Anyway, what we looked at was we compared it to Bitcoin's chart here to see what our price target should be. So what I'll do is go ahead and split screen here. And let's just do a comparison. All right. So as you can see, the price movement actually looks really similar. The reason being is because we know altcoins, as long as they are established, they tend to follow Bitcoin when they have nothing else to do. So unless they have a really strong catalyst, some really good news or bad news, when it's time for them to kind of trade sideways, they tend to follow the market leader. And that market leader is Bitcoin in the crypto space. So what you can see here is this is what Dogecoin followed on the way down. Big spikes all the way down to Bitcoin 42,000. This caused Dogecoin 13. And then we talked about the price targets on the way up. The first stopping point on the way up would have been around 48K, because we know that was support on the way down. And we discussed that that would probably be around 16. And then going up about $2,000 from there to hit the main support right here at 50,000 on Bitcoin. We talked about how that would probably be around 18 cents Dogecoin. And if you just compare the charts, that's kind of how you can figure that out. Now, you can see that's exactly what happened. Let's go down to a slightly lower time frame here. And you can see on the Dogecoin side that that's pretty much exactly where it stalled out. We see a couple peaks right over 18. This is 18.3. This is 18.2, 18.1. This is just 18.05. And that's where it stalled out so far. So if you were looking for a quick in and out, quick trade, you would have been looking to exit at 18 cents and then sit back, evaluate, and see what's going to happen next. All right, if you're looking for a long-term hold and you're trying to do a long-term play here, you're not going to be too concerned with what the short-term action is. Instead, you're probably just going to hope that maybe you get one more pullback opportunity where you can add some more, but your goal is going to be just to add to the dips and then also add into price strength where it looks like we've recovered and we're heading up. So that's kind of the two different angles. I'm going to let some people roll in before we really get too deep into it too much further. But again, guys, don't forget, feel free to blow up the chat with any questions you may have. We had a pretty full house yesterday with plenty of questions and would love to have a repeat. Hey, what's going on, Travis? Welcome back to the stream, man. Good evening. Good to see you again. And let me try this playlist really quick here. Kind of waiting on YouTube notifications to go out, so it's going to be a little bit of a slow start to the stream, but we will definitely get deep into it here soon. Let me just blast out a message really quick to the community. And I apologize, guys. I wanted a different thumbnail today, but YouTube is limiting my thumbnail creation. Maybe I'm being too creative for them. I don't know. It's a little weird, but I had to reuse the same thumbnail. All right, let's copy that. Blast it out. Just so everybody knows, we posted a little for fun poll here, and I just wanted to show everybody the results. All right, so a little bit earlier, what I ended up saying to everybody was, we'll be live in about 2 hours. Get ready, bring your friends and whatnot. Meanwhile, here's a poll. Are you still holding or did you sell? Got a nice little outcome here, a little good turnout here, about 30 votes. Looks like 70% of those 30 said they're still holding and they plan to buy more on the dip. We had 7% say that they sold, but they plan to buy the dip, so they have no position, but they're looking to buy. And then 3% were pretty bearish. They said they sold, and they're pretty much done. They don't plan on buying more, so they're done. They're completely done. And then, of course, the nice 20% there that chose the troll option, Doge to $1. But I agree. I do agree, so maybe it's not so troll after all. What's going on, everybody? A couple more people in here. Let's see, and don't forget, guys, hit that like button as you come in if you don't mind. That way we can get a nice full stream like we had yesterday. Travis, the other Travis, what's going on? How you doing? Gazelle, what's up? Hey, let's talk about this Doge at 17 cents and 13. Let's do it. Let's discuss that. We're about to get right into that. Hey, Skydive, how's it going? Hope you're having a good evening. What's going on, D-Ro? D-Ro says he's holding. Awesome. Yeah, if you guys haven't commented yet, I would be curious, what are your current positions? And I'm also going to drop a poll. I know I have the chat on subscriber only mode and not everybody's going to want to subscribe. That is fine. I understand. But if you do enjoy the content, go ahead, click that button, drop a comment. But I'll also throw up a poll as well, because I'm curious, as people roll in, how are they feeling about this right now? Obviously, I'm going to give my analysis and my best advice, but that is not, we're going to have to see how it decides to play out. I'm not the prophet for everything. There is a chance I can be wrong, and I do accept that. So I've been doing good. Just trying to grind these streams out and make sure everybody's covered and feeling pretty comfortable and confident in their positions. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Thank you. Let's see here. What I want to do is pull Bitcoin back up. And what I'll do is just discuss a few pieces of information so that everybody has a pretty good idea of why we're even at this position. So let me pull up my notes over here on the other screen. Please hang on. There were some things that I shared in the Discord group that these guys already have, where we discussed the catalysts and the reasons why we probably sold off. A quick reminder for anyone that's just popping into the stream and did not catch yesterday's stream. Evergrande did release some more bad news, and I'm sorry if you guys were here yesterday. You probably don't want to hear this again because we went over it like 3 or 4 times, but Evergrande dropped some more bad news, and that's what caused a lot of the selling pressure. A lot of people really freaked out. We know in the past that Evergrande was one of the main reasons why we were seeing crypto sell-offs. Everybody panicked because there's a lot of stock market and crypto investors with large accounts, leverage, whales, you know what I'm getting at here, that were also invested pretty heavily in Evergrande. Evergrande's going under. They're not going to be able to pay a lot of their investors back. And so there was just a lot of FUD being spread because of that. People then start to panic, and they're starting to think that the markets are going to crash, because if that happens and Evergrande can't pay the investors back, the investors can't cover their positions, can't cover the margin costs and all of that. So they're going to have to sell, and that mass selling, all these whales dumping at the same time, could cause a crypto disaster. Long story short. All right. Now, the reason why we kept bouncing back each time there was some Evergrande news was because there was usually a counter argument every single time, like a counter rumor that was positive. So we'd hear Evergrande's going under, then we hear actually Evergrande's not going under. There is still a concern, but this company said that they're more than willing to give them, $50 million to help invest in this, and that'll help them pay people back. There was always some kind of help, some kind of positive angle. This time, directly from the company, and I'll just go ahead and share that tweet for anybody that didn't see it, so I'm not making stuff up here. All right, directly from the company, they released this statement yesterday, where just right here at the end, they let everybody know that they are obligated to provide $260 million USD. That's how much that they are currently owing to their investors. And they said in this next sentence here, basically, that there's a high chance that they will not be able to meet that obligation. And then they encouraged everyone in bold here to please exercise caution when investing in the company, when dealing with the company's securities, their stocks. So just a firm warning from the company that it's not looking so good. And so that was pretty much confirmation that it's not just FUD and things are actually looking bad, direct from the company. And so we saw a bit of a snowball effect here as we broke below the pattern, this broadening descending wedge pattern that was bullish. We broke below that. We broke the inverted head and shoulders. We broke the bull flag, and we broke the reversal pattern all at the same time when that news dropped, because then everybody panic sold. Once we saw the panic selling, after that, the price went down a little too far. Stop losses started getting triggered. Then that snowballed even further to more panic selling, more stop losses getting triggered. And then whales started getting liquidated because it went down too far. And that's when that combination of everything really got out of hand here. And we saw a massive spike down from 58,000 all the way down to 42,000 in the same day. All right, so that's what happened. And that's why we saw the massive crypto sell-off. And let me just pause here because I can see that there's some people rolling in and I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So a couple comments here. Sell says, I'm holding a very heavy bag of 18K that you bought at 30 cents. Oh, man. I will say 30 cents isn't the worst. I know there's actually a couple people in here that are holding at about 28 to 32. And that's not a terrible price. It is a little high. I've always said I feel comfortable holding under something like 25 or under, just because I know worst case scenario, if nothing follows through for Dogecoin at all, Elon Musk abandoned ship, the devs stop progressing the coin, that will probably sit at about 20 to 25 cents. I think that's what Dogecoin's currently worth with nothing else. Now, obviously, I know with Elon Musk, with Robinhood wallets, and so on and so forth, and continued development, Doge could be beyond $1, a couple dollars, but in the current state today, if everyone abandoned it, I feel like it's worth 20 to 25 safely. So 30 cents is just a little bit higher, but that wouldn't be a terrible loss. It would be like 20%, so it wouldn't feel too great, but you would still have most of that money. But here's the thing that really I've been telling everybody before we get too much further into it is, if you have some money on the sidelines, now that is a pretty heavy position. So, and you said yourself it was a heavy position. So that means that maybe you don't feel comfortable adding more, but this is a pretty good dip where I would consider putting more in soon. We'll get to that. We'll get to the details. Don't forget, guys, if you're just rolling in, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. You can click subscribe if you like. I do appreciate that support, but more importantly, don't forget to click that like button. That way YouTube will get this stream recommended to more people, and we can have a really good, fun stream here. Art with me says, I have 117,000 Doge at 174 average. Wow. $18,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money. What's going on, Siddharth? Good morning. What's going on, Kevin? Welcome back to the stream, man. Good to see you again. You said you bought a big bag at 34, just riding it back up. I understand. Awesome. Glad you have that confidence. And I feel pretty confident that it's going to bounce back up. So I do think we'll get to 25, 30, 35, 40 at this pace. It would really be worst case scenario that Doge doesn't break above 25 cents again. And that's, like I said, Elon Musk deciding, you know what, forget this coin. Robinhood saying, you know what, never mind, no wallets. And the devs jumping ship. And that's just not going to happen, right? And even then, that's saying Dogecoin at 20, 25 cents, which is not even that far from 30. So still in a pretty decent spot, guys. Doge Scotland, how's it going? Let me throw up a quick poll. If you're just popping in, don't forget, drop some comments too. I'd love to hear from you. All right, let me throw up a quick poll for you guys. I'll make it similar to yesterday's for fun. All right, cool. Glad to see you guys dropping some comments. I know someone saying 11K Bitcoin. Yeah, there is some talk about that. And let me get to that, guys. Don't forget, poll just popped up. Go ahead and answer that poll. You know I had to discuss the like button in there. I hate to bring it up so much, but trust me, you'll see what happens if we get enough likes. Yesterday we had 300 people in here thanks to YouTube's algorithm, so it can get pretty nuts with your support. Ting Tong says, good to see you regularly, Mariano. Thank you. Hey, Mickey V. That's right. I guess you changed your name. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging back out. SSP says, hi, crypto to invest right now. Oh, are you asking which crypto to invest in right now? That's a good question. Let me come right back to that. Travis says, job I've been at for 15 years is ending first of the year. The drop came at the right time. Bought 1K at 135. Awesome. Average was 19. Do I see it going up more or take what you got on that 1K? There's some good questions. Where's the I don't know and I'm scared option? That's a good point. I wonder if I can edit it. Well, if your option is I don't know and I'm scared, please drop that in the comments and I'll factor that into the percentage. Just let me know in the comments. Just verbally tell me I'm scared and that will count as your answer. And it looks like that's Art's answer. So there's one. All right. So far, we've got 4 votes and all 4 have said they think we're going up. And then they also click like. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate the support there. All right. So let's talk about Bitcoin, guys. And let's talk about whether or not we're going to see another 13-cent dip. Please keep in mind, before I get started, nothing I'm about to say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And also, this is my speculation. I am an experienced day trader and investor, but that does not mean that what I firmly believe is going to be the outcome. But I tend to be on the right track. So there's at least that. I have a good track record. So I'll take that. Good enough for me. Now, there's a couple different things, a couple different reasons that we're crashing. I just talked about the Evergrande one. That's kind of the main reason. What I also want to talk about is some more FUD that's being spread right now. And that's the fact that a large exchange just got hacked and lost a whole lot of cryptocurrency. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share the tweet here. And this is direct from an exchange called Bitmart. All right, the CEO here, Sheldon, and I can't pronounce his last name, so I won't try. But anyway, we'll just say Sheldon, the CEO of Bitmart, dropped this tweet here, and this is what he said. We have identified a large-scale security breach related to one of our ETH hot wallets and one of our BSC hot wallets. Binance Smart Chain hot wallets. At this moment, we are still concluding the possible methods used. The hackers were able to withdraw assets of the value of approximately 150 million US dollars. So, Bitmart got hacked, and they had stolen about $150 million of cryptocurrency. And this was released about 2 hours ago. As you can see, taking a look at the charts here, over the last 2 hours, which would really be if you just do a 2-hour candle, there hasn't been very much movement here on Bitcoin. And then they directly mentioned Ethereum. And honestly, Ethereum didn't budge either. All right. So I'm not saying that's related to the crash, because obviously it wasn't. It just happened. It was just released, the information. But the concern here is we're already in a negative situation, and getting more negative news while people are trying to decide if we've hit the bottom or not is not good timing. So if people are trying to decide, was that just the big dip and now we're going to head up, and then just bad news starts to spread that could make people panic and feel negative about cryptocurrency, that's really not a good start. So just wanted to make everyone aware, as we're trying to figure out if we're going to have enough bullish momentum to clear 50,000 and go back into an uptrend here. Here's some information that's being spread that can influence people's decision. So $150 hacked from Bitmart. The concern with that is there's a lot of people that are not feeling too good about cryptocurrency right now. You've got the Evergrande thing. You've now got multiple exchanges getting hacked left and right, and crypto not seeming so secure anymore if it's not done the right way. And that's just another problem with cryptocurrency, is the lack of regulation. I don't think it's a problem, but for a lot of other people that are saying, should we really take crypto seriously, they look at it and they see that it's not heavily regulated like the stock market, and how easy it is apparently for exchanges to get hacked, for people to get their cryptocurrency stolen. And they're like, all right, maybe this is just a scam. Maybe it's too early. Maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe I should just take a step back. So there's that. On top of that, we've also got the federal tapering information that's been spread. And there's some word going around that because of what's going on, the stock market and the cryptocurrency market together might both end up crashing, and that the crash on the crypto side could see, and they say it's going to burst the crypto bubble, and that we could end up seeing a chain reaction when that happens, where Bitcoin falls below what just happened at 50K and then starts heading towards 28. And then if it heads below 28, that we could see in the teens, possibly down to about 10K Bitcoin. Now, do I believe that or not? That's a good question, and I think we should talk about that. But let me go ahead and pull up this article just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And this kind of stream here, I'm just going to include both sides here. Obviously the bullish side, but also the bearish side, just so that you guys can put together a full picture. So let's make sure this was the right article. Yes. All right. So Navalier, who is a famed investor named Louis Navalier, this is what he said. The Fed is tapering. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here, so you guys can also read it with me and not just see ant print. He said the Fed is tapering, and this should create a correction in risk assets, of which Bitcoin is a part. So Bitcoin is considered one of these risk assets. The more the Fed tapers, the more volatility we should see in both stocks and bonds, and yes, Bitcoin as well. Then as we scroll down a little bit, it says Bitcoin and especially smaller cryptocurrencies remain volatile, highly volatile, compared to traditional markets with the likes of Ethereum and other things. And then he says he warned that the Bitcoin price could drop below 10,000 per Bitcoin, a fall of more than 80% from its all-time high set last month, that high of almost 70,000. And then he said, I would take a decline below 46,000, which is the 200-day moving day average, to be a yellow flag, and a decline below the spring low of 28,500 to be a completed massive double top, which points to a decline to below $10,000, which incidentally would match many of the multiple 80% plus declines in its storied history. So basically what he's saying here is if we pass below 46,000 based off the negative news, that it's a bad sign. But then if we end up below 28,500, it's a terribly bad sign, which probably means we're going to 10, and that historically these kind of drops would actually make sense, and it would match up with historical pullbacks in the past. There's also on Twitter, if you look around at some people doing some analysis and they're trying to, there's always the 100% technical people that are trying to compare previous patterns to the current pattern and just see if it matches. And then they like to say, based off of 2013 and 2017, this is probably what's going to happen in 2021 or 2022. And they did compare some charts where things started to trend downward. I can't find it right here. It was in the feed previously, but that's fine. So there's that. Now, here's what I want to show you guys as far as technicals is concerned, just taking a look at the chart. Right? And just to re-update the statistics on the poll, it looks like we've got 75% of 12 votes. 75% say we're going up, and I also clicked the like button. And then we've got like one person that wasn't feeling so great. They said Doge to 0, and they're also not clicking like. So respect, I understand. All right, so here's the Bitcoin chart here, and this is what I was talking about yesterday, and this is what we still have to be aware of. What I'm going to do is mark Luis Navalier's panic level right here, where he said it's a yellow flag if we cross below, just so we can see it. And actually, let's get rid of some of these extra lines now. And let's place his line here, and let's make that the blue line. All right. So here's what we're looking at here. And we can get rid of this box for now. This is a zoomed out version of Bitcoin's price action starting from 2020 to now. And if we zoom out even further, let's just do like a weekly view. You can see pretty much all-time history that Webull has going back from 2015. This is the view of Bitcoin here. You can see that first there was a massive, massive move up, a big old pullback, another attempt here. This is when we went to 20,000 for the first time. We pulled all the way back down to 3,000. Then we had a pretty big move up here from 3,000 to 13, and we managed to pull all the way back down to 3,000 again. This time, we went from 3,000 all the way up to 64, pulled back to 30, and then moved all the way up to 69,000. In my head, just looking at this reasonably, from the daily, well, let me zoom back out here. We're on the 4-hour time frame. From the daily time frame, things look okay. When you look at the weekly time frame, and you really get to see the full picture, and most people don't look at the weekly time frame, what you can kind of see is that in a way we do still kind of look extended. Now, oh, you did a mistake on the vote? No problem. No problem. Looks like that was the one vote right there. All right, it was Bruno. All right, when you take a look at this from the weekly zoomed out and seeing from the beginning of time to now, it kind of looks like it would not be surprising if we saw a big pullback here. The only reason, and now if we were just looking at a chart and I knew nothing at all about Bitcoin, I would say we're due for a deeper pullback. Back towards 30 and maybe even back towards 20. Why would I say that? Because looking at the technical indicators, they have not had a chance to catch up, which means that based off the price movement, the average price indicators, there was not enough bullish activity to really yank those lines, the ones that really trail behind, so like the weekly and the monthly time frame. Not enough bullish activity to pull those lines up and provide support pretty close to the current action. Now, that might have sounded confusing if you're new to technical analysis, but let me just show you what I'm talking about. So if we look at this from the daily time frames perspective, you can see, now obviously the lower time frame you go, the closer that these averages tend to be to the current price action because they're considering less information over time. But this is averaging out the previous like 200 days, 200 period moving average on the daily time frame from each point, 200 prior. And so what you can see is on the way up, see how these EMAs tend to be relatively close to the action. Then on the way down, they're still kind of following. On the way up, they're still kind of following. If you look at the weekly time frame here, the price action's close to the 50 is kind of where the big supports have been hitting. But then look at the 100 and look at the main one here, the 200 EMA. I always say that for a healthy uptrend, you usually want to see a pullback, one or two, along the way to the 200 EMA. And when you look at the weekly time frame here, Bitcoin since January, February, March of 2020 has not had a healthy pullback to the weekly time frame's 200 EMA, which means it is overdue. Now, for that reason, I'm saying if I was looking at this chart for the first time and I knew nothing about Bitcoin, I would say this is probably a little bit extended. And what we could see here is a bit of a head and shoulders here, where maybe we do reclaim 50, but we get another rejection here at 53K. We head back down, and then we flush out and we head towards 34.25. Now, the only reason that I would not say that is because I know Bitcoin's fundamentals, and that's why I always say technicals alone are very irrelevant. You have to look at the big picture. And we know that Bitcoin increases in value over time. It is not just like a normal stock or normal cryptocurrency where it's just kind of up to the people and the project doesn't change very much, and supply and demand doesn't change very much, and difficulty of mining doesn't change very much. This is a little bit different. We already know how Bitcoin's lined up. We already know that there's kind of like a roadmap for Bitcoin, that over time, the difficulty of mining gets extremely difficult, much harder when the halving events occur. And we know how Bitcoin works. I'm not going to go into explaining all that right now. But because of that, Bitcoin has this really extreme roadmap where the price tends to double and triple and quadruple over time. And by like 2024, the price is supposed to be somewhere around like $500,000 per Bitcoin based on supply, demand, and difficulty of mining. All of those things factored in. So because of that, it's not the same to where I'd say, oh, we're due for such a healthy pullback that we should move all the way down to here before we get some more buying pressure and then we see some more continuation. But I do still think that we could be due for another pullback that people didn't see coming. I would not be surprised. And all it's going to take for that to happen, and here's the real point, whether or not we are due for it or not is a little bit irrelevant. But from the weekly time frames point of view, it could definitely happen. And the reason I'm thinking it's pretty easy now is because we failed Luis Navalier's yellow flag support here. We broke below 46,000 yesterday. And he said if that happens, you should be concerned. Another thing here is where we ended up stopping, which is at 42,000, is extremely close to the panic line right here, which honestly should be red. So let's change that. It's extremely close to the panic line here that we really cannot pass below without seeing a crash. 42,000 is only $2,000 on Bitcoin away from 40K. If we go under 40K here, we are probably going to see another market crash. Everyone's going to flip bearish. Everyone's going to freak out and panic and wonder why we are back in this box that it took so long for us to get out of right here. And this is the terrible 3 months here right after the SNL event occurred. And then we had Elon Musk drop Bitcoin off of Tesla's balance sheet. Well, not off the balance sheet, but stopped accepting Bitcoin for Tesla. And then China also started banning Bitcoin as well. Right around this time right here. And then for the next 3 months, we were doing live streams like every day, trying to cover and predict when the bounce would occur. And this is when we saw Bitcoin make all-time lows here at 28K multiple times. So if we go back into this area, crossing below that 40,000 level again, and go back into this bearish zone, people are going to start to think, oh my goodness, now we're back, we're stuck in this channel again. This really isn't over. Maybe this isn't a bull market quite yet, and this was just a bounce, and we're coming right back, and maybe there will even be a deeper, healthier pullback before the real rip. People could start to feel that way. So we really cannot afford to break below 40,000, or we might get stuck in here, and then because of that, people will get bearish and start thinking we could come down here, and we might actually end up here. And if we get here, we could get here. You know, hopefully that makes sense. If we get here, people will get so freaked out that we could end up here. And if we're here, maybe people all panic, and then we really end up flushing out real hard towards 10 to 15K. And that's actually kind of what Luis was saying, that if we break below 28.5, he thinks we could actually end up dumping down to 10. It's the same concept. Literally everyone long will get liquidated, everyone will panic, and everyone's stop losses will have been triggered by that point. So it will just cause like a massacre in the crypto market. Now that's extremely bearish, but it's not just me trying to be extremely bearish. This right here was extremely bearish. All right, it's not me. It's what happened. All right, so don't blame me for the bearish outlook. I'm just reading the chart. And now that I've explained all of that, and you look at this with the weekly time frame up, and you can see the EMAs, suddenly things start to look a little bit clearer, because now you can see that if we cross below 40,000 and we get the pullback and we start dumping below this 100 EMA, and then we break out the bottom of this, that there's a 200 EMA support right here at about 25,000 that we could hold at. And if we don't hold there, then we could potentially make a big dump down as everyone just panic sells, and then we wait until maybe we hit a support somewhere right around here or here, which would be $10,000 or $12,000 on Bitcoin. At that point, Dogecoin would be in the single digits. ADA would be well under $1. Ethereum would be well under $1,000. And obviously, that's not a time any of us want to think about if we've gone long. Okay, but it is worth just discussing, just in case. Now, is that what I really think is going to happen? My answer would be no. Now, here's what I really think could happen here. I'm not convinced that everyone is feeling confident enough to be bullish right now and go back long. So I think what could realistically happen here is that we come back up and we try 50, or we even break above 50. We try 53 here, but then we're not strong enough to do it. And we see like just one more pullback towards like 46-ish, or maybe just a little bit lower. And then we kind of do a bit of a double bottom here. And then we move back up and start continuing the uptrend. That would be my best guess. Now, if that does happen and we end up double bottoming here, I don't really necessarily think that the bottom's going to be 42 or 43K again. I think we might take the body of these candles as the support line. So right around here, around 46.7, and that we might see something happen like this before we make the move out. If that happens, Bitcoin actually doesn't have very far to move down from here, just about $3,000, but that should take Dogecoin down a couple cents with it, especially because everyone's going to be freaked out. And if you look right now, Dogecoin's sitting at 17.7 when we're sitting at 49K on Bitcoin. So if you think about Dogecoin and where it would pull back if Bitcoin went down $3,000, well, you could look right here, because this is where Dogecoin was sitting the last time Bitcoin was at 46,500, and that was right at around 16 cents. But I think if Bitcoin starts to fall again, that people might panic just a little bit harder the second time around on the altcoins, and so that this might actually overshoot a little bit down to the downside, and that we could possibly get a 15-cent dip again. That, now, with me saying that, I'm going to also say I don't quite think that we're going to hit the 13-cent dip again, because with that model, that means we're stopping at 46,000 on Bitcoin. We are not going all the way back down to 42 or 43, and that should not, because of that, we should not be allowing Dogecoin to go down quite that far. Dogecoin really shouldn't be touching 14s. I think the lowest we see is near 15 cents flat, and that will be the best dip that you can get before we start to do the bounce for good and get out of here. Please keep in mind, though, the bearish angle is possible, though no one wants to think about it. I'm sure no one wants to talk about it, and I'm sure even some of you right now are feeling like clicking off the stream right now because you don't want to hear it. I do understand. The bearish angle, though, is possible if enough bad news gets spread and retailers panic, and those smart money whales feel like there's actually bad enough news that they should get out before something bad happens. They do that sometimes. A lot of times there's market manipulation where they make it seem like there's an overreaction in the market to get what they want, maybe to trigger everyone into selling off so they can buy the dip. But there's also times where they know, all right, this doesn't sound too good for me. I need to get out. It could go either way. So that's just in a nutshell what I think is going to happen here. I think we can maybe get a 15 or 16 cent dip here, but I'm more bullish than I am bearish on Bitcoin. I don't think we're going to see a massive crash down to 10K, but it's possible. Let's take a look at the poll. So pretty much everyone here that's voted so far is saying that they think we're going up. No one has clicked the "we're crashing" button. So cool. And I know we had Bruno accidentally click the Doge to 0-1, so there's that one vote there. But looks like everyone's bullish. 100% so far are saying we're going up, so awesome. Couple questions I may have missed. Let's see. Do I see us going up, or should you take what you've got on that 1K? I see us going up, and I see us doing a bit of a pullback and then continuing up. So I would feel just a little more bullish here than I would bearish. That being said, guys, what I've been saying pretty much all day, especially in the Discord group, is to just please be careful with your position size here, because that's my analysis and that's my best guess based off no other information that's being provided, because other than the cryptocurrency hack and the Evergrande sheet that was published, we have no news to go off of here in the crypto market. There's nothing crazy going on. We know that that El Salvador bought like 150 or $100 million more Bitcoin or something like that. Cool, right? That doesn't move the needle anymore. Each time El Salvador buys Bitcoin, absolutely nothing happens to the price action. No one really cares about that anymore. It's not a bullish catalyst anymore. It's already factored in. So other than that, we have no new real market moving news to the upside or the downside, other than the couple pieces of bearish information that have been published. So at this point, there is a possibility that if we just start trending to the downside and no whales catch it and bump the price up, that we could trend just a little too far down and spark another flash dump, another flash crash. It could happen. So that's why I'm saying be careful. But scared money does not make money. I'm sure you guys have heard that before. And basically what I'm saying is if you believe in your project and you don't know what's going to happen, like at this point, we don't really know, and you don't feel strongly biased in one direction or the other, you should execute a plan. Make a plan, trade it. So in my opinion, the best dip places to buy are 13 cents on Dogecoin, 16 cents, and then 19 cents. The reason I'm saying that is because I know 16 is an extremely strong support going back historically. So I'm never going to feel bad knowing that I personally think that Doge is worth 20 to 25 cents on its worst day. I'm always going to feel confident buying 16 cents. But then if we pull back hard, 13, just like I predicted in July, as you can see with this box that has been there ever since, 13 is the absolute lowest that I really felt like we would be going until something terrible happened in the market. And here we got the 13-cent dip right at the bottom there. So 13, I would be buying more. 16 cents, I'm buying. And then at 19 cents, that would be Bitcoin back to like 53K, 52, 53K, and holding and looking positive. So right around 19 to 20 cents is when we would be seeing Bitcoin show signs of strength above the 53,000 support line and heading towards 54 and back towards 55, which means, in my opinion, it would make me feel like the bullish trend is now continuing and we're in the clear. And so then I'd add more at that 19-cent support area right here. As you can see, that's where the next support is. So hopefully you're kind of getting the concept. There's like levels to this. This is the bottom level. This is the second floor. And this is the third floor. All of this area in between is also that floor, but this is like the floor, this is the ceiling, and this is like the wall, the space. Each time we get to a new level, I want to make sure we're holding at that level. We're not going to fall through the floor. And if we hold at that level, I want to buy as close to the bottom as I can of each floor. So that's the concept really with technical analysis. You identify support levels and then you wait for it to hold and you buy when it does hold. So that's what I'm looking at. What's going on, Alex? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good night. Not a whole lot of questions here tonight. Everybody's a little quiet. I understand, though. Thank you all for clicking that like button, showing your support. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other altcoins here and just see what we've got. So Ethereum did the hard pullback here as well, just like Dogecoin. Massive rejection wick all the way down to 480, 3,480, but then it did bounce all the way back up, closed all the way up here at 4,100, and Ethereum is still sitting at around $4,200. So that's cool. So there's that. And then if we go over to ADA, Cardano is still in that dip zone. You could see it rejected out the bottom, but it came right back into that box. And now it's trying to close right inside of that dip zone box there. So if this holds and the market holds and we start heading up, this is going to be a great point, great spot right here to buy some Cardano. It's also a great spot to buy some Dogecoin, and then a great spot to buy some Ethereum. But for me, Ethereum is a good buy at any spot. We talked about that yesterday, so I'm sure you guys are well aware of why. Pheasant Life says, I'm just listening. Oh, okay. No problem. I do want to thank you all for the support yesterday. We had a crazy stream. We ended up having about 300 viewers in here at a time, with a total of about 6,000 people passing through. So that was incredible. And then we also got 150 subscribers last night. There was not 150 notifications that went off because a lot of them had their account preferences set to private, which means that pings and stuff and your name doesn't get announced when you subscribe to somebody. They can't see it, but your subscriber count still goes up. So thank you all for helping out, clicking the like button yesterday, and just helping with the YouTube algorithm and being awesome. Do appreciate it. He says, taking in as much information as and learning. Appreciate it. Hey, thank you, man. Glad to help. Kevin says, yes, this is great info. Awesome. Glad to help everyone. And like I said, it might come off like I'm a bearish person sometimes, but honestly, I love to make everyone feel good and say we're going to the moon. But what I don't want is to be just like everyone else that is permanently saying Doge is going to $1 every single day, and that every single thing that happens is just positive, because it's a little unrealistic. And I like to just make sure that everyone's informed. And it may not always make everyone feel super good to get that information, but that's not really, I'm not here for the feel goods per se. Let's see. 1 second. Let me load something up here on the other screen. Cool. Hey, also, I just wanted to let you guys know, I do have a buddy here that also does similar streams. So if you like, oops, I unliked it. If you like this kind of content, go check out Matt's Market as well. MATT' Market. All right. We did a co-stream not too long ago, and he talks about a whole lot of different coins, like a lot of different altcoins. I don't usually go too much beyond the top like 15, 20 market cap, unless people ask me for my opinion, because I like to just do really detailed and focused analysis on the market movers and see which direction the entire market's going. But I know he talks about like Avalanche a lot, Mana, SHIB, and you can just kind of see here from his screen that he's got a whole lot of tickers. All right, so if you're into more rare, less talked about altcoins, give his channel a check. Go check out his channel, subscribe, and let him know that I sent you. And he's actually streaming right now, so just showing some support. All right, taking a look at the poll, still pretty much 100% have said that we're going up. So I think everyone, oh wait, nope, we've got about 1 vote here that says that we are crashing. So we've got maybe just a couple people feeling a little bit uncertain. Understandable. Let's take a look and see if there's anything going on Twitter here. I love this account called Whale Trades, by the way. Really good. Really good for seeing what the whales are doing. Each time a whale does a trade like over like $500,000, it informs you what cryptocurrency that they traded. Did they go long or short? And then also what happened. So we can see here, we've got some shorts here. Oh, a short was liquidated on Ethereum because the price went up. $763,000. That position went to zero. That's insane. Someone went long here, about 2 million on Ethereum 3 minutes ago. Another $1 million long, another $1 million long. But then about 30 minutes ago, a whole lot of shorts. ETH short 1 mil, CRV shorted almost a mil, 100 grand liquidated, not a whole lot. Well, in comparison. Another mil short, a couple hours ago. Yeah, a couple hours ago, everybody was going short. Now people are kind of flipping to long, it looks like, with the whales. What's my opinion on SHIB? This is a tricky question. And because there's not a whole lot of comments, I'll take a little bit more time on it just so that you guys understand where I'm coming from with SHIB. And let me just go ahead and pull up SHIB's chart here, maybe in a split view. And let's go Doge over here. So let me give just a general overview of how I feel about SHIB. I'm not a massive fan of the entire SHIB community. And honestly, that also stands for Dogecoin now as well. There's some pretty annoying people over in the Dogecoin community these days, but the SHIB community kind of put a bad taste in my mouth from the beginning, just because of the whole, like, we're going to kill Dogecoin theme of the token. And it was even called the Dogecoin killer when it came out. And everyone knows, even if the narrative has been changed a little bit today to make it a little more neutral, that's kind of the angle. It's like, its goal is to outdo Dogecoin as far as performance, as far as spot on coin on the market cap list, and then also popularity and everything. Like, everyone wants that coin to just be doing better than Dogecoin, and then also make people richer than Dogecoin would have made its people. So from the beginning, that put a sour taste in my mouth. I've gotten past that now, and at this, especially now that SHIB has gotten some utility and is a little more useful, and so now I feel a little different. Now I kind of look at the coin as a project, and I assign value to it just based off of that. And I say, you know what, forget about the community. That doesn't matter. Let's look at SHIB for SHIB, right? Here's the way I feel about Shiba Inu. I think SHIB is actually a really cool project, and I think that it's actually pretty valuable. The thing that nobody really talks about is that SHIB, one of its main things is the really cool DEX, the decentralized exchange. That is what SHIB like really is. And that's what gives the SHIB ecosystem so much value, and literally no one talks about it. It's a direct competitor to Uniswap, which has been for a while 14 in market cap, and I haven't checked in like a month. So let's see where Uniswap sits now. Which one's my water? That's not it. Oh, here it is. All right, so Uniswap got pushed back a little bit to 19th. All right, but SHIB, the decentralized exchange Shiba Swap, is a direct competitor to Uniswap, and SHIB token is the face of Shiba Swap, like just like Uni has the Uni token. So really, as a project, SHIB has a lot of value, and then you add to that it has a whole community around it that is just obsessed with the project, which is awesome, and they want to see it succeed, and they push to drive adoption of it, and they want to see future updates come. That's awesome. On top of that, we've got a whole roadmap with SHIB getting the blockchain thing for its community, and so on and so forth. There's a lot in the pipeline, and they're constantly trying to improve the ecosystem. So I think SHIB as a project is good. I just don't think that overall people care too much about what SHIB actually does inside the community as much as they care about, hopefully SHIB price goes up because I have 1 million tokens, and if these tokens go to 1 cent, I'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars or more. And that's the problem that I have. And so, not flaming the community whatsoever, but because I feel like the community isn't actually all in on the actual things that are happening with SHIB as much as what the outcome will be with the price, I feel like SHIB is only really going to have big, massive run-ups off of Robinhood news, which is really what gets everybody excited, because everyone knows that getting listed on Robinhood is going to make your cryptocurrency go to the moon. It happened with Dogecoin, and now it happened with SHIB, as SHIB went from 5 with 5 zeros in front of it and lost to 0 and over 10x'd, because you can see the number difference here, 5 to 8 with a 0 missing. So it over 10x'd. That's the big catalyst right there. I'm not too sure if the blockchain and like the NFTs and the couple extra things are really going to make SHIB do this kind of move. So for that reason, as an investment, I am a little bearish on Shiba Inu until it gets reconfirmation from Robinhood that it's going to get listed. At that point, I'm super bullish on SHIB. But until SHIB is on Robinhood, I'm bearish on SHIB. Or just neutral. I'll say neutral. That being said, though, if SHIB were to do a pullback to 3,000 again, or even 2,500 or 2,000, honestly, I think that would be a really good buy spot. Anywhere in this general area, whether or not I like SHIB or not. I think this is just like a free money zone right here, where if it pulled back and I had some money to spend and I was looking for a project to buy into, I don't care what my thoughts were about the community or the strength of the project long term. This is just like a great dip. It's a second chance. If you missed out buying anywhere here and they did all of this, now if you get another chance here, it's kind of like buying Dogecoin at 13 or 16 cents again, like we're doing right now. Rare, once every couple month, once in a blue moon opportunity. So that's how I feel about it. But SHIB anywhere 3,500, 4,000, 4,500. Unless there's Robinhood hype, I don't feel like buying in. That's just me. But I think SHIB is fine. On top of that, though, SHIB is getting accepted places as payment. I heard a lot of rumors going around, but unfortunately, that did not seem to move the price very much. So that's why I'm saying I think Robinhood's the big catalyst that's going to do it. When Shiba Swap actually dropped, the price didn't move at all. And that was supposed to be the biggest catalyst for Shiba Inu for the longest time. And so that's why I've developed that thought process. It's not me hating SHIB at all or hating on the community. It's just me watching the community and watching the outcome of things happen. And that's the opinion I've developed so far. That's what I've analyzed. Christy Dan says, can I please look at EGLD? Let's take a look. While we're doing that, One God, One Soul says Doge has been a little piggy since SNL. They should change the Shiba Inu to piggy. Interesting. I understand. A little bit of Doge hate. A little Doge flame. Honestly, Dogecoin deserves it. We need to get back to 74 cents. It's been a long time. So if a little pinch or a little slap for Dogecoin is going to do it, let's do it. Let's see. EGLD. I'm assuming it's a token here. Okay. eGold. The internet scale blockchain is live. A highly scalable, fast, and secure blockchain platform for distributed apps, enterprise use cases, and the new internet economy. Ooh. Now that sounds pretty cool. Let's see. Where's the summary of what this project does? Okay. A blockchain to elevate your business. Elrond is an easy-to-integrate blockchain with unprecedented scalability, high speed, and low transaction fees. We strongly believe blockchain integration should happen only if it creates real value. I agree. We can help you optimize costs, add security and transparency, or discover new business models. Okay. Set up an exploratory call. Okay, that's how you get started. All right. What I'd like to see is where this really, like, what will it do? I'm seeing a lot of buzzwords, but what will it do? The Elrond eGold token is native to the Elrond network and will be used for everything from staking, governance, transactions, smart contracts. Okay, right. So that's what the token will be used for. It'll represent the project. Maybe I need to read the white paper. Okay. Hang on just a second. There's a lot of big words here. It's making it tricky to get to the point. I don't know. So it looks like they created just this really efficient blockchain for people to use, but it doesn't look like it has a predefined direction. Like, what is the project aiming to do? Just provide the blockchain for businesses to figure out how they want to use it? That's the vibe I'm getting so far. It's not telling me like our goal is to accomplish this. Really, it's saying we have a highly scalable, fast, secure blockchain platform for apps and for enterprises to use, but on our own, we don't actually have a goal. So for me, I'm not feeling too good about this project, only because it can easily be mimicked by anyone else. You know what I mean? Because at this point, there is an abundance of blockchain technologies and blockchain networks. So really anyone can make a similar project and just say, here, I've created a well put together blockchain with a good representative token, and I'm going to present it to you businesses to use for whatever you want to use it for. It doesn't seem to have like a target, like a project that it's really trying to work towards an end goal with. So for me, it wouldn't be an investment, but if they get utilized by enough companies, then the value of their brand will go up. It's just not something I would invest in. What are some catalysts for Doge? Oh, that's a good question. You felt that too? Yeah, what are some catalysts for Dogecoin? That's a good question. So, hang on, let me drink some water. Let's talk Doge. Let's talk about what's really going to make Dogecoin go to the moon here. So, one of the main things, the main catalyst for Dogecoin was really the preparation step for the moon. I wish I had some kind of slide to put to really show what I'm talking about here. But there's like preparation for the rocket to take off, and then there's the rocket taking off, and then there's like the target that we're trying to reach. Preparation for the rocket to be ready to even be considered ready to take off, like for us to get to the moon, was going to be Dogecoin transaction fees getting reduced. And that just happened recently with the latest update to 1.14.5. And at this point, basically, we've got a whole lot of people in the community, including myself, running a node, a Dogecoin node, helping out with this on the latest version. But really, that's allowing the transaction fees to be greatly reduced. So now when you send Dogecoin, I forget what the threshold is. It's like per megabyte of information. Instead of transactions costing 1 Doge, it's going to cost 1/100th of a Dogecoin. And especially considering how cheap Dogecoin is right now, that is insane. So 1/100th of Dogecoin at 20 cents is like 2/10 of a cent, right? Instead of it costing us 1 whole Dogecoin, which would be 20 cents. So that is insane value right there. And what that does is it sets Dogecoin up to be used for what Dogecoin is supposed to be used for. And that is a currency, using Dogecoin as money. So I have a laptop. I want someone to buy it from me. It's up for sale. I'm accepting Doge as payment for it. So they pay me in Doge just like they would pay me with dollars. I give them the laptop, and vice versa. That's how Dogecoin is supposed to be used. We buy it to use it. And now that Dogecoin is much easier and much cheaper to send around, it better positioned itself to do that on a large scale. Because the thing is, for the everyday person like me, if I'm sending someone on Twitter, let's just say I'm being kind, someone had like their Dogecoin wallet in their Twitter bio or something, and I felt like giving them $10 worth of Dogecoin. I don't really care that it's going to cost me 1 Doge in a transaction fee or 2 Dogecoin in a transaction fee to send them 1,000 Doge, right? Because what's 20 or 40 cents for a transaction fee? This doesn't really matter. We're not talking about ETH fees here of like $400 to $500 to $700. It's 20 cents. Doesn't really matter. But for a company, for someone like Tesla, for example, which is what we're waiting on, someone that's doing hundreds or thousands of transactions potentially per day, especially when you're talking about transactions not just with people buying and selling Teslas, but also maybe in-house transactions as they're buying stuff for car parts or whatever. Like if they want to interact with Dogecoin and say we accept it as a method of payment for our stuff, Tesla solar, Tesla batteries, all of that. What's going to need to happen is they're going to want to feel that they're accepting a good currency that has value, that isn't just going to drop to zero, that has a lot of backing behind it, but it's also going to make sense. What's the benefit to, you have to establish a business case usually. What's going to be the benefit to making this move? Is it going to be profitable? Is it reliable? And why is it better than anything else that we're doing right now? Should we even waste time and resources considering this model? So, for one thing, you're probably comparing accepting Dogecoin to accepting Bitcoin, and then you're also considering accepting cryptocurrency to accepting standard payments with US dollar or via like Visa or MasterCard. And one of the big advantages that something like Dogecoin would bring to these kind of companies, where they'd say, oh yeah, let's take these guys as payment, is going to be not just the community, though it's one big catalyst for them, the amount of people that are going to have this cryptocurrency and want to find a place to spend it. So it's a marketing tool for that reason, if they can accept it and make it work. But then what's the efficiency? Am I saving money by using it? So especially, like I said, with a company like Tesla, high volume of transactions, or any other business, that transaction fee really starts to add up. If they're doing hundreds of thousands of transactions per week or tens of thousands, then that's 20 cents or whatever Dogecoin's price is. If Doge goes to 50 cents to $1, because let's say they make the announcement Doge for Tesla and then Doge spikes, now they're going to be making transactions where they're losing 50 cents to $1 or beyond each transaction just because of Dogecoin transaction fees. And times 10,000, times 100,000, times a million, whatever their sales are with everything that they're interacting with. So getting that transaction fee reduced to 1/100th of a Doge instead of one whole Doge now means that when Doge is $1, instead of transaction fees being $1 per transaction, it's going to be 2 cents. And that is insane savings. And at that point, you compare it to other cryptos, and Doge is beating most with transaction fees. So then you have a use case for Dogecoin and a good reason to use it over others. And that gives Dogecoin even more utility because it's so much cheaper. Thank you, Yosumi. Thank you so much for the sub. I do appreciate it. Thanks for the support. So that's one reason. And so I know that was a little long, but there's not many comments, so why not take a little extra time to explain? So, not complaining, by the way, just saying. So that's really the big update, that even though it didn't move the needle a whole lot for Dogecoin, it didn't make Dogecoin go to like 30-40 cents, it really got Dogecoin prepped for being ready to be accepted. And Elon Musk even said himself on Twitter, he made it very clear that whatever people talked about, and it would take me too long to find the tweet, but every time people are talking about the Dogecoin update and Dogecoin transaction fees getting reduced, he always replied and said, made it a point to emphasize how important that the update was with the transaction fee reduction. And that's the reason why. For mass adoption on a mass scale with tons of transactions being executed, being charged 1/100th of the original fee is huge for a company. So that's one. Catalyst 2 that's actually going to move the needle is going to be Dogecoin for Tesla. The reason being is that this is what everybody's waiting on. And so and this is what really gets people hype. And that's why everybody really starts freaking out when Elon Musk talks about Dogecoin, because they're like, are we getting closer? Are we getting closer? It's just confirmation that he's still interested in accepting Dogecoin. We saw what it did for Bitcoin. It caused the bull run. And then we saw what happened when he said, we're not taking it anymore. It caused the pullback. So then everyone's saying, well, similarly, when Dogecoin gets accepted, it will probably have a similar bull run. And when Bitcoin gets back to Tesla, it will probably have another bull run. So it's not just a catalyst for Dogecoin. Bitcoin for Tesla is a catalyst for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's price movement is going to pull the whole market up with it. So Ethereum, ADA, AVAX, Dogecoin, everything, Solana, is all going to move up when Bitcoin gets reaccepted for Tesla. And then on top of that, Dogecoin getting accepted, it's going to make Dogecoin move like at twice the rate up. So we're really going to see some crazy stuff with price action. And I think that Dogecoin could easily skyrocket straight to 75 cents to $1 just off that alone. Or at least 50 if I'm just going to be conservative, for sure. Now, the other reason why that's such a big deal, because you could say that short term, like, okay, let's say we buy the dip now, we get Doge for Tesla, Doge spikes to $1, and then everyone's like, all right, cool. We got Doge to $1. I'm taking my profit. Forget Dogecoin now. There will probably be a big dump at the top, just like there was right here with the SNL event. Big move up and an even bigger move down. Everybody's going to be taking profit. Even the Dogecoin billionaire, his price target was at the minimum selling at Doge at $1, but really his goal was $2.50. But he did mention he'd be all right selling at $1. So he, the face of Dogecoin, might even sell when we hit $1 off that news. So there is going to be a massive, massive dump. And so I wouldn't be surprised there. But the big reason that this catalyst is important is because after Dogecoin goes to Tesla, Tesla is a market leading company. And the whole reason that Bitcoin for Tesla was such a big deal is because what ended up happening, once Tesla accepted Bitcoin, all of the other companies, because Tesla's a market leading company, all the smaller companies that look up to Tesla started to take note. And then they started to accept Bitcoin as a method of payment, following in Tesla's footsteps. And those big companies figuring out a way to accept Bitcoin made the price continue to move up. And so here's the concept. Let's just say nothing was happening for Bitcoin. This is Doge, but this is just an example. Nothing's happening for Bitcoin. Just good news, just moving up a little bit. And then we get Bitcoin for Tesla. Ooh, crazy. All right. And then everyone takes profit at the top. But then the real good stuff starts happening, because then everyone buys the dip. Things start to normalize. And then as things have stabilized, then you start getting Amazon, Bitcoin for Amazon, Bitcoin for Walmart, Bitcoin for Macy's, Bitcoin for, and then all these other announcements start coming in that then gradually increase the price. And then we hit a new high after that, because now all this new value has come to Bitcoin based off of Tesla starting it. And then we pulled back and then had the second move. So that's what I'm expecting to happen with Dogecoin when Doge gets accepted for Tesla. Big news, Doge for Tesla. Everyone takes profit. People that are still bullish on Doge buy the dip. It normalizes, it stabilizes, starts to trade sideways. Maybe it spiked to $1, pulled back to 30, bounces back up to about 50 or 60 and starts trading sideways, just hovering around 60, 70 cents. And that's where it normalizes at. Then we get Dogecoin for Amazon, Dogecoin for Walmart, Dogecoin for all these other places. And then all the smaller brands after the big companies start taking notice too. Dogecoin for Dollar Tree, and it just becomes a normalized thing. And then Dogecoin just starts increasing in value more and more and more after that, as it becomes like a normalized staple in the economy. Like we accept cash, card, Bitcoin, and Dogecoin. You know what I mean? And I'm talking natively. BitPay and those other things don't count. Those are workarounds. I have always made it clear I'm against that stuff. It does not help. It helps, but it doesn't help fix the problem of people valuing crypto. So it just helps you spin yours. It doesn't help make the value of crypto go up. So anyway, that's why that's such a big catalyst. And then on top of that, equally important it's going to be, and this one's just a little slept on, but I understand the importance, is going to be Robinhood wallets. And I mentioned this yesterday. The real reason that's one of the biggest catalysts, if not the bigger catalyst, is because what good is being able to accept a crypto if people can't spend it? Most of Dogecoin is held on Robinhood, at least 30%. Last time I checked, it was 60. Maybe it's been diversified a bit. Either way, that's a massive chunk of the Dogecoin market. So if we've got 60 or even 30% of all retail traders that are invested in Dogecoin, they have their Dogecoin locked up on Robinhood. Tesla, Walmart, and the entire world can say, hey guys, we accept it. All that's going to do is briefly spike the price as people get excited, but then no one's going to be able to do anything with it because it's all locked on Robinhood. So Robinhood and giving us wallets is going to let people actually take their Dogecoin and take advantage of these people accepting it. And then as positive things come to these companies, so let's say Walmart accepts Doge, they see a 25% increase in sales as all these people with Dogecoin get excited and they want to come to Walmart to spend it. Other companies take note. Their marketing team is like, hey guys, did you see Walmart spending? Like their profits increased by 25% because they accepted Doge and their community went crazy there. Let's try and figure that out too. That could really help our sales. And then there's a snowball effect as people can actually use it. And then more incentive for more companies to snowball and follow that lead. So Tesla starts it all, but Robinhood wallets really like completes the cycle. So there's that. And that's why I think those two things are equally important. If we get Tesla's announcement, that's great. The price will spike, but long term, like, we have to be able to get our money off of Robinhood, our crypto. And then the second part two of why Robinhood wallets is such an important catalyst is because right now, and this is what I say a lot, all you can do on Robinhood, because you can't spend your own crypto or take it out, you can only buy and sell. So if you buy, your intention is always to sell it at some point. So yes, there was buying pressure off good news, but there's going to be a point where everyone's going to sell. That's the only reason they ever bought, was to sell it for profit. It wasn't to take it off, because they can't do that. It wasn't to send it to a friend, because they can't do it. It wasn't to go spend it at Amazon or at Tesla, because they literally can't. It was to buy it, to sell it later. So once you introduce wallets and you give people that third option, you can either buy, sell, or send. Then you reduce selling pressure, because people can, instead of selling it for profit and it's always buy to sell, it could be, well, I'm going to buy it so I can send it to my friend. I'm going to buy it so I can make a payment with it at the store, because I see some additional value in doing that versus using money. And so that now we have increased buying pressure and we have reduced selling pressure. So then the price of Dogecoin will rise even more. So all of those things combined, massive catalyst for Doge. That's why SHIB to Robinhood would have been such a massive catalyst as well for it. And I think that's why we even saw some of that, why it 12x'd, right? But unfortunately, Robinhood said indirectly that they were not planning to include SHIB on Robinhood anytime soon, because they weren't in any kind of rush. What they said was they were not in any kind of rush to expose their users to risk by onboarding more risky coins. So that was in reply to, are they accepting SHIB soon, like the rumors say. And that's when we saw the pullback and the sell-off as people lost, the hype died off. So until that actually happens, I think SHIB will remain trading sideways a bit, unless they have other good news. But once SHIB drops on Robinhood, it opens the gates for SHIB to be in the same ballpark as Dogecoin. The problem, though, is SHIB is an ERC20 token. It's on the Ethereum blockchain. And so when you want to send SHIB to other people, you have to deal with Ethereum fees. And so that is the reason why it cannot compete for payments. So there's no concern there for Doge being challenged. But it will be possible, at least for the Robinhood people. Toby's Entertainment says, what do you think about the news channels always talking about crypto when it crashes, but never say anything about it when it's healthy? Yeah, I mean, there's two different things that typically happen in markets. You've got usually the news channels that only preach the doom and gloom and make people panic. And then you've got the influencers, usually like the crypto or stock market influencers, that only talk about crypto when the markets are healthy, and they never say anything when it crashes, except this is bullish, buy the dip, you know. So I feel the same way about both. I think it's really unhealthy to only cover one thing and always be biased in one direction. I am always pretty neutral. I just take a look at what the chart is saying, what the news is indicating, and I say, hey guys, it looks like we're going up from here. This is looking bullish, let's buy. Or, hey guys, it looks like we're going down. This is looking bearish, let's sell. Or plan in advance to not sell and look for the dip to buy. And that's it. But I'm not surprised by it. Dogecoin, the people's currency. I'm pretty excited to see what the future holds. Me too. And sorry, that was a long explanation I gave. I just wanted to make it pretty clear kind of where I stand. And that's why I'm bullish on Doge. Like, I have actual reasons to believe that things will be really good for it. It's just a matter of time. And, you know, if I didn't believe in Doge, I've been covering Doge on my live streams since we were right about here. We were at about 50. That's when I started live streaming. It was about May. And it was right around here when we were about 50 cents. If I didn't believe in Dogecoin, I would not have been streaming every single day of the week, 7 days a week, for months through all of this turmoil. I would have stopped and switched to something else. But the thing is, as long as Elon Musk is still on board and interested and makes that clear, as long as Robinhood is still giving us wallets, as long as the dev team is still set on making Dogecoin the best version of Dogecoin that it can be, and all these stars are aligning, I know it's just a matter of time. And so let's just have some fun with it. And when the price gets low, if we see it stabilize, buy the dip and wait for the rip, because it is inevitable as long as we have those three things working together in our favor. So now, as far as timeline is concerned, we do have confirmation from the COO of Robinhood that Robinhood wallets are coming in Q1 of 2022, in case you guys were not aware. And so that puts a timeline, at least on our first major catalyst, even if we don't know exactly when Elon Musk will do the announcement to bring Doge and Doge and Bitcoin on board for Tesla again. We do know Q1 2022 at the latest we'll be having Robinhood wallets. So that's one of two things. We already have the fee reduction, so that's already done. And then we will have Robinhood wallets, and then that'll be one of two. And two of two will then be Elon Musk doing his thing. So and that's really what will open the door. Have you ever looked into Matic Polygon? It's been doing good so far. I like how you were very honest when it comes to crypto, by the way. You did say something bad might happen if Bitcoin didn't gain soon. Yeah. And yeah, that's the thing. It does need to gain. I have looked at Matic Polygon, and let me go ahead and pull up CoinMarketCap here. See how Matic is doing. So Matic's doing all right. All right. And here's my concern about Polygon that I talked about before. Ethereum 2.0 is supposed to come next year, right? In Ethereum 2, they utilize a whole lot of layer 2 solutions to make the network more efficient and faster. Roll-ups, sharding, and all this different technical jargon. Now, Polygon is a platform that's made for Ethereum scaling and infrastructure. So basically, Polygon's like a layer 2 scaling solution that runs on top of Ethereum. When Ethereum 2.0 comes, my concern is that a lot of these layer 2 solutions, where their whole value is providing Ethereum with these extra features, will then become kind of irrelevant as Ethereum 2 integrates a lot of these features natively. So then what's the purpose of using an outside source for it? I mean, you can just do it like not on chain, but like within the actual project itself. Why go to a third party? So I think until ETH2, things like Polygon and these other layer 2 solutions that help scale and reduce transaction fees and give you workarounds is great. But I think as soon as ETH2 gets close and hits, that these things will slowly start to fade out and that they will fall towards the bottom of the market cap instead of being towards the top. So short term, I'm super bullish on those guys, and I'm not surprised that Polygon is top 15. But I will say that around next year, mid to end of next year, whenever ETH2 rolls around, that I think Polygon is not going to be up here anymore. So that would be my opinion there. Yeah, no problem, peasant. One news says, who's got enough Doge for a Tesla? Then even if you have, how many people want one? Well, same argument could be said about who has enough Bitcoin for a Tesla. Now, obviously, a Bitcoin at this point in time is worth a lot more than a Dogecoin is, but it's really just about how much money you have, right? So there's some people out there that can afford a Bitcoin, and a lot of people have multiple. I'm sure there's some people out there that could afford enough Dogecoin for a Tesla, because really all you have to do is just have enough money for one. So, but we'll see. I mean, it's a little bit of a, and to be honest, it is a little bit of a novelty, right? Like it's not necessary. We don't need to be able to purchase a Tesla with Dogecoin. We don't need to be able to purchase. It's actually foolish, in my opinion, to purchase a Tesla with Bitcoin, because at least Dogecoin is meant for spending, and it's not like a deflationary asset. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is a hyper deflationary asset. So you're spending a deflationary asset in exchange for a inflationary asset that's going to decrease in value over time. So Bitcoin, you could spend one Bitcoin right now and it's worth what, 49,000 on a vehicle that could be worth 49,000 USD when you buy it, but then come next year after that, that vehicle will be worth about 35,000, let's just say, well, probably 40, and then the Bitcoin might be worth 100,000. So you lost and they won. Whereas Dogecoin is gonna be probably around the same value the following year. Maybe it increased in value a little bit as Catalyst came around, but you know, it's not hyper deflationary. So if anything, I think it's foolish that people would spend their Bitcoin on actual items. I've always said Bitcoin should be like, I think of it like a bank account, and Bitcoin is the savings account and Dogecoin's the checking. Dogecoin's meant for spending, Bitcoin's meant for accumulating and saving. Good night. Y'all make that money. Thanks again, Mariano. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks for the support, Skydive. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging around tonight. But yeah, that's my thought on Polygon. I think it's going to pretty much be a failure when Ethereum 2 comes out. So short term, sure, take advantage of all of the use, but then just please beware that when ETH 2 rolls around, it might be time to get out or go short or whatever floats your boat. To be honest, I always wanted to invest, but only decided to do so when I found Doge. It's not just a meme coin. It's a joke that we are all in on. I agree. And Doge is what got me into crypto. I was previously in the stock market just as a day trader. And then Dogecoin brought me into crypto. So I knew about Bitcoin. I didn't actually know about Ethereum, but Bitcoin just didn't interest me at really any point. I did see it on Robinhood at 3,000, and I'm mad I didn't buy it. Okay, because I don't have $40,000, but I did have 3, and I just didn't do it. And I could have had a lot of money by now, having one whole Bitcoin. But yeah, I was not into crypto whatsoever. But then Dogecoin, you know, I was looking on my Robinhood app, looking at stocks and stuff, and I saw Doge. Everybody was talking about Dogecoin, and I took a look, and Dogecoin was taking off, like just nonstop, 6, 7, 8 cents, 9 cents, 10 cents. And then once that happened, I bought in Dogecoin. I bought right when it hit about 16, believe it or not, and Dogecoin just kept ripping and went up to like 40. And that's when I sold it, tried to sell it. And that's when I experienced my first Robinhood crash. Robinhood did not let anybody sell. I was up. I invested $3,000, I think, at the time, and I was up to 10, or maybe it was 1,000, and I was up to 10. It was something crazy. And then I tried to sell, and couldn't sell, and then the price dumped. And okay, no, I bought at 19, tried to sell at like 40, wherever the spike was, like 45. Nobody could sell. The sell wouldn't work, and then the price started to dump. Everyone started taking profit. The price went all the way down, and I panic sold because finally I got my sell button back. And this was crazy. And I finally was able to sell, and I sold right at about 16 and a half. And then the price reversed right at 16 and took off and left me in the dust and went right back up to like 20s, 30. And that was the day where I said, that was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm sure a lot of other people, everybody makes mistakes. Me, I was using my phone, not looking at a chart, not even thinking, and I made a super rookie trading mistake. And then I was like, wow, I would have never done that if I was doing like my day trading there. What in the world did I just do? That was literally like the most noob trading pattern I could have done. I bought, I held, didn't sell, greeted, then it dumped. I panic sold literally at the bottom at support, and then it bounced when I panic sold and took off without me. And then I said, you know what? There's probably a lot of people that do that every single day. Maybe I should teach them how to trade and how not to do that. And that's how I ended up streaming. But yeah, that was a rare thing for me. I was pretty upset though. But I was most upset at Robinhood though, because I did try to sell the top. But I just waited a little too long trying to time the top. And I did. When I tried to sell, it literally was the top. I did time it right, but I was not aware of Robinhood and how scammy they were at the time when it comes to crypto. And then we know how that played out. There was like 4 more times after that where Robinhood would conveniently go down when the price went super crazy and they didn't want people to buy or sell. So Wasn't the first, wasn't the last. But yeah, I don't think it's so much about people actually going and buying a Tesla with Dogecoin, right? I think it's really about the mess as far as for us. Now for Tesla, I'm sure they're going to want people to actually do it if they're going to go through all that effort to make it work. But for us, as far as it being a catalyst, the real thing is a market leading company does it, shows the world, hey guys, we're doing it. And then the people that follow market leading companies start doing it too. And then the word spreads and we get just like catalysts upon catalysts for us. Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon, natively accepting cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Dogecoin. That's what we're hoping for. But I personally am not planning to buy a Tesla. If I were to buy one, it would be the Plaid. And I don't really want to spend $140,000 on a vehicle. So won't be doing that. Been a pretty good stream, guys. Hopefully was able to provide some good info. Seeing a couple of you guys back from yesterday, which is awesome. But I'll hang around for a couple more minutes, answer any other questions that pop up. But it might be getting close to that time. Don't forget, guys, subscribe if you have not. Click that like button. I do appreciate it. Looks like we've got about 45 votes now. A couple people still thinking Doge is going to zero. And we've got about, 69% have said that we're going up and 11% say that we're crashing. So most people still positive. So that's nice. To address Toby's comment though, right at the end, he said, you did say something bad might happen if Bitcoin doesn't gain soon. And yeah, I really want to just make everyone aware, like, even though I'm not bearish on cryptocurrency right now, I do see a potential concern. And I just want to make it known to everybody that though I'm bullish, we are very close to a danger zone right here. And if we hold below 40,000, very bad things can happen in the crypto market. So as long as we stay away from there, I would be bullish. But if we start heading back to 46 and then start heading under that and then even break below 42, I would genuinely be concerned. So start trading accordingly now. Know that though it is a little unlikely, it is a possibility. We are not in the clear yet, though we did have a bounce yesterday after we dumped. You could see the daily candle still closed under 50K, and the daily candle we're on now is still under 50K. We have not reclaimed support yet. We are not in the clear. Things look nice. Bitcoin's green on the day. Dogecoin's not at 13 cents. A little bit of a bounce from Ethereum. It's now back in 4,000 territory. ADA's now back up to the dip zone. But we, looking at it realistically, still have not repassed Bitcoin 50,000, which is the main level right here. So if we give this a try and we still can't pass 50K, and then we start seeing red candles here, then that scenario could be starting to play out that nobody's really expecting. Just like nobody expected us to sell off just now from 59 down to 42. And we see what happens when people get caught off guard. People are usually over leveraged in the other direction and overconfident. And so they hang on to the last second and they either then panic sell or they get liquidated if they were leveraged. And then that causes massive chain reactions to the downside. So if people are not expecting that we're going to go down into here, then we could see another liquidation event and panic sell event that could really floor us all the way through this and then spark a whole nother one. And that's the chain reaction that could get us down into the teens. And that's what Lewis was also talking about there in his article. So, like I said, I am still bullish, but it would not take much for us to get there. So there is still some caution. But yeah, guys, you're going to see a lot of people out there that are just permanently bullish or permanently bearish. Just my best advice is always try and make your own educated guesses, but combine both. You know, look at the good, look at the bad, see which one makes the most sense, and take a look at the chart secondary. It's really more important how everybody's going to feel realistically. Like, how are people going to react to information versus what does the chart say that we're going to do? Technical analysis is secondary because people at the end of the day, they execute a buy or a sell based off of an emotion, unless they are like a computer or they trade robotically, and that's very rare. There's very few people that do that. So the majority of people are going to buy if they hear good news, and they're going to sell out of panic if they hear bad news. And then they'll also feel emotional if they see big green candles. They'll FOMO buy in really late. And if they see big red candles, they'll panic buy out of fear. That's really how it goes. So technicals are secondary to all of that. If you don't have too much emotions going on, you can look at technicals just to figure out the trend and how things are probably going to play out, as long as real world events don't kick in and makes people feel a different kind of way. Because as we can see here, inverse head and shoulders, bull flag, reversal pattern, and descending, broadening wedge here. That's a bullish reversal pattern, and we fell out the bottom off bad news very, very quickly.
It's actually got a good rip on.
So, no Christmas this year for Doge holders, all broke. Yeah, hopefully no one was trying to hold out till December to cash out and buy any gifts, because this is not your month. It is time for those dedicated funds to go into some more Dogecoin on the Doge dip, right? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. I think I'm going to wrap up stream. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe. That way you can be here for the next stream, which will probably be Monday, or at the very least sometime next week, as long as something's going on that we can cover. And I'd love to be back to answer you guys' questions as they come along. Could even be tomorrow if something crazy happens. But go ahead, guys. If you wanted to find another stream to watch, go show some support to my buddy Matt's Market. He does analysis as well, and he covers a whole lot of different altcoins. So if that's your thing, you might actually enjoy it. So yeah, go head over to his stream, Matt's Market. Again, just search that into the YouTube bar, and he's live right now. And just let him know I sent you over there. That way he knows that I was being a nice guy, you know. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for hanging out, and have a great rest of your night, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next stream.